You know, Terry and I always look forward to coming down here and hunting with Dan Thurston at Lazy D, but this year was going to be special because Jared was going to try and kill his first turkey on film. We went out and we decided to go try and roost, and I was using the coyote howler. Beautiful evening, a little chilly, and they really weren't gobbling that well. We finally got a turkey to gobble, and we went back to camp, did a little strategy session.
Not nearly as thick as this fence line because there's two separate landowners, and this one here, it's a lot brushier on this side of the fence than this.
Anticipation was high as we got ready, drove out here this morning. Jared was all excited.
We'll see what happens. I'm not real accustomed to hunting when it's 20 degrees outside during turkey season, but I don't know, when it's right, and hopefully that's the way it is this morning.
Dan was excited, I was excited, a little cold, but we wanted to get after that bird.
First hunt of the year, boy, we're fired up. We'll see what happens. It's a cold morning. I don't know, there's nothing like going out that first morning and experimenting a little bit, see what kind of mood the turkeys are in.
We had one gobble good last night on the limb, but just a coyote yelping. We'll see what he does to turkey calling this morning.
We set up the decoys and got ready, and boy, what a show. He really gobbled well.
You know, I was struggling to pick that bird up on the limb over there, and with my keen eyesight, I really had to stare for a long time before I picked him out.
He gobbled and gobbled and gobbled, and I waited till it was pretty light, and then I started soft yelping to him on the Super Illuminator too.
As soon as Mark gave him the first soft little yelp out of the Illuminator, he came right out of the tree. You know, there's not really a better way to start opening day of any season to hunt a turkey like that just will not stop gobbling.
Once I called, he flew down and immediately started coming, and he was over there on that pretty shelf. And I thought, he's gonna hang up. He started coming, and he was coming off of that shelf on that bare hillside, and then all of a sudden I lost sight of him. Then I heard him fly, and I thought, I know he's coming across the creek, and he did. He popped up over here to the left.
You know, when that bird came off of that ledge, I lost him. He went out of sight and flew the creek, and next time I saw him, he popped up right over the decoys.
Wasn't long after he popped up, right over the decoys, Jared made a perfect shot.
I like it when you don't have to sit in one spot for very long at all. He flew off the roost and it wasn't 10 minutes later and he was a goner.
Congratulations, boys. Good job.
Well, your first turkey on video, Jared.
Wow, was that exciting. When it's this open like this, it's you know, we could see him heck 300-400 yards away and saw him come all the way in.
He's got frost on his back, boy. It's cold.
Some great calling, Mark. You started out real subtle.
Some great scouting as usual, Dan.
Well, we got lucky. Had a little trouble getting them to gobble last night. You on the roost.
You don't know how much we appreciate you letting us come down here. Yeah, talking about that last night. They didn't gobble very well at all. We went to a bunch of spots where you knew there were birds, and then finally this one hollered back, and that's a good point. When they don't gobble on the roost and only one does, that's definitely the bird to go to.
That's where we started, and it certainly worked this morning.
And that's where we went. You got that right. And man, did he gobble this morning.
Gobbled, come off the hill, he flew the creek and came up right there, and you made a great shot, buddy.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
Congratulations.
Get him tagged.
Boy, it's not often you get to see the sunrise as you walk out with your turkeys here.
I've never done that.
How about that, Dan?
Wow, how about it, mister?
Fun hunt.
Thank you very much, Dan, and thanks for the call and Mark.
Great.
What a way to start the season.
It's always good to get that first bird done. There's plenty more birds gobbling across the road here. We'll see if we can get something done with them.
Great hunt, great morning, beautiful day. We'll go kill another one yet this morning.
You know, it's a cold morning, but it's dead calm. I expect the way that turkey gobbled this morning, we should have some good striking in front of us.
I'm extremely fired up to get on another one. Actually, what I'd like to do is get behind the camera and film Mark and Terry because they don't get to hunt together that often. So I want to get behind the camera and see what I can't mess up from back there.
We just decided to take the day and cut and run, try and find strutters in fields.
Now what?
You want to go on down in there a little ways?
Somebody's sleepy.
You know, one of the things that I like the most about spring turkey season is the fact that it's social. You get to go and spend time with your friends like Dan Thurston and Terry.
How's turkey season going, mister?
We're through half a morning and I'm wore out.
Uncle Terry's getting old.
First day. What do you think it's gonna be like come May? I don't see none here. Let's move on.
Should we call first?
Well, you know, the cutting and running wasn't working. If he don't get one fired up here soon, I'm gonna have to start doing the calling. He likes to hop out and run that thing. I taught him how to run that when he was in diapers. Geez, Louisa. Boy, that should hit that.
I thought I heard something like that. Give me one.
Dan's always hearing stuff. He thinks he's a super guide. That's an old guide's trick when you go to a terrible spot. I think I heard one running again. And then if we went in there and sat up and he sat back a little ways when we got back together, he'd go, "Did you see him? He come in over here." Dan had been talking about a roost site where a lot of birds congregate. Out here in Kansas, there's a lot of open ground, and if you get into a big set of cottonwoods, you may have several birds roosting there.
I've been trying to get the boys to come here all afternoon, but no, we want to go cut and run.
Finally, Dan Thurston talked us into an evening roost site here, and it worked out great.
It's pretty evening. So this is where they normally roost at now?
There's some sycamores right down here in this cut. Some nice drainage that works through. There's some ag on the bottom. And a lot of times those birds will work up from that bottom up.
There's a lot of states where we don't get to hunt evenings, so when Mark and I get the opportunity to do it, we're going to take full advantage of it.
Why don't you hunt? No, you hunt. Well, why don't you let me call? Maybe we'll get something.
No, if I call, maybe we'll kill something.
Okay, why don't you let me call, because
Your calling's obviously not working.
All right. Twist my arm. we got out of the truck and we're headed out across the field. Dan and I were talking about where they usually come from, and all of a sudden Terry goes, psst, 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 there they are, get down, get down. And we looked up, and I could see turkeys way down the pasture.
But one's an adult. Let's try and get to the fence.
You know, it was kind of quick how that all came together. Here we're walking across this plowed ground or cultivated field, and I just happened to glance over there and see a bird coming, so we had to get down real fast, you know, and then crawl to a fence right there just for a little bit of cover.
Worked out great because Terry was a little bit behind, so he was already in position to call, and I forwarded Jared to come closer, and Terry started calling. Okay.
Get down. We got some birds out here in the pasture. Terry spotted them on the way in. They're down the way a little bit. Go ahead, Terry. I see him out there.
Once he started calling, the birds gobbled a little bit out at a distance, but there were 3 jakes out in front.
2 longbeards.
Jakes came in, and then over to the left, 2 longbeards appeared, and they were already within range, I think, when we got the camera on them.
One's in the back of the longbeard.
You're on the longbeards?
Get on them.
Terry covered that clucking real good, and the gobblers really started gobbling well, and then I had trouble trying to get a shot.
You locked in. I can't shoot now. Come on, dude. To the right. I'm on the one to the left. I'm on the one to the right. One to the right. Yeah, one to the right.
Is it good?
Yeah, with the setup, yeah.
Ready?
Oh, yeah. It just all ended up to be a great evening. Dan was right on where to go. Terry did some perfect calling, and luckily we made the shot.
How about that, Dan? Trying to get set up. Wow, there he was. How about that? Good job.
Cool. Hey, that was fun.
Good call on Thurston's part there. He knew where they were going to be this evening.
Good call on his part, good calling on your part.
Well, what do you expect?
Well, it's shocking, quite frankly.
We were arguing who was going to call. I guess he won.
Yeah, or
we
shoot.
didn't,
Yeah,
we
nobody
didn't have time to get the calls
nobody
out. I
wanted
guess
to
that's
shoot
why
our
he won,
call.
right? It's the only way you won is
Good
if
job.
you get our
Yeah.
calls out.
I'll sit in front of him any day. He knows that.
There's nothing like sitting at a roost site and trying to figure out where the turkeys are located. It makes your job a lot easier the next morning in deciding where to go. Our problem is we don't know whether to go to this group or that group. We've heard hens pitch up with both groups. And it sounds like there's an adult or 2 in this group, and this one for sure is an adult over here. So we'll flip a coin. Nice. God love it. We're hunting. bar hole us, but somehow we'll try and squeak one out. What do you think of that, Dan?
I've wondered why I had to fight you guys to get you here.
Well, we had the birds roosted, and now it was time to do a strategy session. Why don't we try doing 2 crews since there's so many birds? Somebody go to the left, somebody go to the right, and see how it pans out. I don't remember who it was, but somebody suggested splitting up. Somebody go on one side of them, one team, and another team go on the other side.
Well, it makes me no difference. We can flip a coin. Pick which spot you want to go to, because I'll go. It don't make me any difference. It's a crapshoot in the morning. Which one do you feel like you have the best chance? Honestly.
In the dark, I would know my way down in there better because I've been there multiple times. So
True.
I should probably go to the bottom.
You'd be stumble.
You guys could stay up there, work your way along that dirt field.
You know, if you can bust into 2 crews and kind of surround them, your chances are just so much better.
Even when you split up, you really don't know if you're going to be in the right spot. So Dan and I snuck in the dark, put the decoys out, and to our surprise, the turkeys were right in front of us. We got really lucky.
Man, they are fired up in here. It's a loaded house. We've got Terry on the other side. Some work to ground. He's got a setup over there. We came around here on the side.
What a gobbling morning it was. I don't know if I've heard that many turkeys that grouped up before this late and into April. It was a lot of fun while they were on the roost. They were really singing this morning.
Oh, look at him. He's strutting on the limb.
Once it got light, I couldn't believe the turkeys were right in front of us.
Well, the turkeys start flying down, and I'd been filming the one, I guess it was a Jake, looking back on it, and I mean, he flew right at the camera. It was just incredible. I had to back out to get him. As the turkey started pouring in, I didn't know which one to film. I mean, it was just awesome. And then the Longbeard appeared. The Jakes ran him off. It was really, really exciting.
Boy, it's always great when a plan comes together. We got in this old hedgerow right here on the corner. Those birds come down, worked perfectly, flew right out. Some great, great action of them flying down right here.
Those were some adult sounding Jakes. I was certain there was more Toms than that. This fella come down and was trying to claim the territory, and it certainly was his demise because he was going to come in here and clean house and take over this ridgetop. Couldn't be more happier. This was a great hunt this morning. And what a beautiful, calm morning. Great plan, and it all came together like it was supposed to. Rarely does that happen in the outdoors.
Well, we finished the morning, and we couldn't wait to get around to the other side to see if Terry had seen anything.
You know, it's nice when a plan comes together like that. You do all this strategizing, you know, and you go in and roost a turkey, and not often do they fly down into your lap and work like they're supposed to, but this morning it turned out pretty good.
Here comes Terry. I wonder how his hunt went this morning. Obviously not as good as mine. I don't see him carrying anything behind him. Gotta go check it out and get his big story of what didn't happen.
You know, I was happy that Dan killed a turkey. He needs, you know, he needs the ego boost. I don't have to kill a turkey on film, but poor old Dan, he likes to be in front of that camera, so I'm glad he killed one. You know, he's got an ego the size of Texas.
It's late afternoon, and we've chosen to set up here on this field edge. And the reason is that we're really right tight to where these turkeys like to roost. And we've been noticing them in the afternoon, using this as a strut zone. It's a nice flat plowed field, along with a little green field. It's just a gorgeous area for turkeys. There's turkey tracks all over. We've been watching these birds in here for the last few nights. Got a pretty good feeling that we'll have an opportunity here to get on one. And it I'll tell you what, I don't remember a more thrilling, exciting, gorgeous hunt than that. It's late afternoon, and we chose to set up along wood edge, right along this open field, just because we've been noticing that the birds come through here on the way to roost every evening. And we didn't sit here long and fired up a hen. That's a great point. If you get a hen that's super active, boy, she was calling back, and every time that she'd call to me, I'd just lay on the call and do it almost twice as hard, twice as loud as she was calling to me, and it fired her up. And sure enough, just as you hoped and wished it would happen, she came walking across that green field, coming right into us, and drug him along with her. And that was just fantastic, watching him strut against that green field, right into the Featherflex decoy. Oh, that was fun. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed that.
Chase these other two out. These are bigger birds that are chasing off them other toms. It's gonna be good.
Wow, that was awesome. I'm gonna go get him. I don't think he went far at all. He's hurt bad. Boy, what a morning we had today. Set up here in the corner of a soybean field and a picked corn field, and just a perfect corner. A driveway comes across here, and just a high traffic area. Just a really nice setup. Real confident in it this morning. And boy, we set up the blind here, and I mean, we weren't even done setting up, and we had gobblers going off all over the place, and hens, and yeah, we just got pumped. And then a couple of gobblers off in the distance started working this way, and as they got closer, it intimidated the two big toms over here, and so we had two smaller gobblers coming in, and these two big old boys, and the big guys chased off the smaller ones, and And the next thing you know, we had birds right in on us. And boy, when they decided to come in, they just come running in right into the decoys. Just pretty as could be. I waited for one to get a little bit of strut there, and boy, I just center punched him with a bow. It just really, really exciting. Brian didn't know. I think he would have preferred I use a shotgun this morning, but I was determined to get a gobbler this year with a bow and arrow, and Brian stuck with me, and we really had a good hunt this morning. And so I think Brian likes it or not, I'm going to do it again with a bow next year.
Opening day, Iowa 2003. Getting out of the truck. My landowner did some scouting for me since I couldn't get down here and do some scouting. Said he's got about 3 longbeards using this little bottom flat. This is a bottom flat that we've had great success in the past years. My father's killed one here. Amy's killed one here, and we've killed a lot of birds on this flat. So we're gonna try her out this morning.
You always look forward to your home state and hunting your turkeys that you know best. And this area is definitely one of the areas that I know best. I felt our chances were pretty good going into this morning's hunt. Then on roost, we really didn't hear any gobbles. It was kind of, I was like, okay, where are the birds? You know, one of those type of mornings. So we were kind of getting nervous there for a while. Then all of a sudden he gobbled. I knew our chances were good then. All I could see when I first saw this turkey was the top of his tail fan and then his white head poking up every once in a while. I can't recall him popping out a strut at all. It was go time for him. He got to the decoys. You know, you're always leery letting them get all the way to the decoys or not, because sometimes, you know, when they get that close, if they've been spooked around them before, they start to shy away. But it didn't appear that he was going to do that, so I was going to let him play it out. And I was hoping he was going to flog that Jake decoy, and he did go up to it, but he didn't cock his head, you know, like they do in a fighting stance situation. I knew he wasn't going to probably attack the Jake decoy, but he did go right to that hen. I put a hen low on the ground, almost in the breeding position, and he was strutting big time for her. And I could have probably let the show continue, but I'd had enough, I think. My heart was pumping, and I was full of adrenaline, so I put the red dot on him, and I let him have it. And what a perfect early morning hunt. This is as good a textbook hunt as you can have early morning. We set out the decoys. We got here plenty before light. The moon was pretty bright, so we knew we had to. We got here, we set up within probably 70 yards of him, and they like this open field. Obviously, it looks like a classic strut zone, and he was definitely putting on a strut for these decoys. And I let him come all the way into them, and This was just a textbook early morning hunt. It's first season Iowa, and this is the only time I had to hunt. I had about a 3-hour window because I'm actually flying out to Washington to hunt with my good friend John Odell, hunt some mountain Merriams up there. And so it was either going to happen or it wasn't, and I guess somebody was looking out for me today.
Find us 8 elk shed laying here. We're in East Washington, and we have been doing some serious walking. Turkeys are henned up really, really bad, and I don't know, we're trying to cut them off. We got a few located up here, so I just found the shed laying here. It's pretty cool. We're coming up the hill, so we're gonna see if we can get on these. They're henned up so bad that as soon as you call, the hens take the gobblers other way. It's right in the main part of their breeding season, so we're just gonna try and get them cut off and maybe call them to us, see what happens. Give it a try. We walked down that plateau and got on the ridge and struck and immediately got a response. We heard about 3 or 4 gobbles and we knew it was on then. There he goes, right there. He's close. We set up a decoy real quick and got in position. Wasn't long, I yelped one more time and they gobbled, and finally we saw heads appear. There was one hen with them, and she came right into the decoy and brought the other birds with her. When they came over the ridge, we were really excited. Well, I think it's safe to say this is an experience Chris and I will remember forever. Came from Florida all the way out to Eastern Washington, hunting with Joe and Jody from Sherman Creek Outfitters. Had just an unforgettable experience. We've been up high in the mountains and just a lot of things we don't normally see in Florida. This bird was gobbling pretty low on a plateau. We were up high on a ridge all day and heard him from way up top and came down and just worked out perfect. He came right in with one hen and a couple of jigs, and the rest was history. This is a great, great bird and couldn't be happier. Can't wait to come back.
We didn't have any turkeys roosted last night, so we came in here to a place we've heard them in the past, and luckily there's one gobble about 150 yards away. We'll see where he's at. He might be on the other side of the ditch.
During the deer season, Terry and I hunt together every day with nobody around. During the turkey season, generally there's somebody around, so this morning we had a chance to get out by ourselves, and we were really looking forward to it. Opening day of Missouri season. We didn't have any birds roosted, so we just set up in a known area where there'd been birds in the past. We were hoping to have some gobbling, but the weather's kind of bad today.
You know, it's always tough when you're going to a known area, but you don't have any birds roosted the night before. and you're just hoping and praying that there's going to be a turkey in there for you.
Boy, that first gobble of the season just gets your blood boiling, and luckily the gobble was on the edge of our field.
That looks like a bird in the sky.
Definitely him. He's kind of wobbling.
You know, I was struggling trying to see that bird up on the limb. Mark's got such incredible eyesight in low light that he saw the fan. He said, there he is, he's strutting on the limb.
It was very dark, and I wasn't sure whether Terry could see him or not with the camera.
As luck would have it, he pointed it out for me, and I was able to get on the turkey. It's usually pretty tough when it's, you know, low light conditions like that, but I was able to pick him out on the limb up there thanks to Mark.
He flew down into our field, and man, I was excited, but I was also concerned because it was very dark. Finally, he started to come, and he just came on that slow, steady pace that you really love to see out of a gobbler. Just perfect for videoing.
He's through those weeds here. He's coming.
You know, that turkey worked in like a charm. It's a rare occasion, and we hunt all over the place, but it is a rare occasion to get those birds to work in like they're supposed to, and this one just happened to work the way he was. The turkey started to veer to the left a little bit, and Mark, as quick-witted as he is, he threw some calls at him and got him to turn and head to our position. I thought he was going to be a goner. We've seen him do that before.
He just came on a slow, steady pace, the pace that you love as a cameraman and the pace you love as a hunter, because it allows you to get your gun adjusted. The moment he saw that decoy, boy, he broke into full strut, and I was sure glad we took the time to put it out in the dark.
You know, Mark put the shot on him with that high velocity ammo that he's using, and it did a number on that turkey. It's always a thrill to see a bird go down like that.
Boy, he gave us an awfully good show. You wait the whole year in preparation for that one particular time that a turkey will do what this one did this morning. I mean, we didn't have anything roosted, came in here to a known spot, and historically, there's certain areas that just hold turkeys, and this is one of them. And luckily, he was on our side of the ditch. Sometimes they fly out the other way, but he flew down our way, and I called to him early, and he gobbled, and it sounded like to me like he switched his position on the limb and gobbled at us. And that's always a good sign when a turkey hits your call and then gobbles right at you, and then he continued gobbling towards us. Just a gorgeous show all the way in. He came right in. So we found a turkey without any hens and got kind of lucky this morning, I guess. Get the mud out of his feet. It's been kind of wet. Nice hunt. That was just a great way to start the season. Nothing better than having a bird over your shoulder on the way back to the truck. Doesn't happen often enough, I know that. What a wonderful feeling.
Well, Mark was lucky enough to hit his this morning, hit it right. You know, turkey worked in, it couldn't have been any better. So we're gonna try and kill 2 in one day on opening day of Missouri season. That hadn't happened to us, I don't think, ever.
There's usually turkeys out in that pasture over there, but I don't see any. Oh, they're right here. Oh, doggone it.
There isn't anything worse than pulling up to a spot and spooking some birds off of your pasture field where you're planning on going in.
Once you bump turkeys, you know, you just never know whether you're going to get back on them or not.
We accidentally just bumped 2 turkeys off of this cattle pasture, and I'm going to try and slip down and use this structure and maneuver around on them because they separated from the hens. The hens were with them. Hens went one way, the gobblers went the other. So I'm going to try and see what I can do, see if I can try and call them.
We immediately went after those turkeys and down through the ditch, and I remember it was really muddy right down the bottom of the ditch, and we're tromping through the mud, and I'm thinking, this stuff never works. We come up out of the ditch, and we're sneaking along this little edge of brush, and all of a sudden Terry says, well, there they are, they're on the hill. So, you know, we're stuck right there. We can't move any further.
There they are, they're both over there.
Well, we can squat down and try it. Let's squat down. Your instinct as a hunter is to get down, sit down and get ready. And we squat down and we see nothing but a wall of brush. We said, hey, let's just stand up and see what happens. We put a tree in front of us instead of behind us this time, and it allowed for a pretty good setup.
You know, both of us were standing up in a wide open there. We had a few small trees to get behind, but it's testimony to mossy oak camouflage.
I'm filming and calling, and it was a neat situation because we could see the birds and we could see their body posture. And the more I called, the more that it urged them on down off the hill. And if I stopped calling, they got disinterested. I guess that was because of the weather.
I guess one of the neatest parts about this particular hunt is the fact that the hens had left the gobbler, so they were all by themselves. It's an altogether different animal, man. When they're without hens, they're a lot easier to call.
Oh, there's the one down low, Jerry, see?
I'd wait for that turkey to hit a good spot where I could see him good, and I'd call, and boy, he'd hammer it. Never missed a call. Finally, they got to the ditch, hung up, so I just started hammering him pretty good, and they finally broke and come across the ditch. And once they did that, we were hoping it was going to get good then. kept panning back to Terry, and I know he had to be in a rough situation with his gun up, and finally they just kept coming.
Isn't a better feeling than to put a bird like that down. You know, he's coming, but there he stopped, and I thought, well, now's the time. How about that, buddy? Kind of hard to describe a hunt like that because they just don't happen like that very often. I had struck these birds after we crossed the ravine. I struck them with the cherry bomb and got them to gobble, but I didn't have a mouth call with me. So it was Mark's responsibility to do all the calling, and he did a tremendous job, kept them interested, kept them gobbling, kept them coming, and they just took their leisurely time, worked all the way off of that long hillside over there, crossed the creek and up the other side, and worked in just like you like them. So it was one of those classic hunts that just doesn't happen very often, but it was one that I'm going to remember for a long, long time, I promise you that. Well, I need to get him out of here, and we're going to go. Great hunt, great day, opening day of Missouri season, man. Doesn't get any better.
I had a smile on my face when I was filming Terry walk away with that bird, I'll promise you.
Look at all these tracks.
Yeah.
Well, I've been looking forward to this hunt ever since I drew my non-resident Iowa tag. On this particular hunt, on this trip, I get the opportunity to hunt with my dad and hopefully get his first turkey on video. So I'll be hunting with him and, of course, my best friend and longtime camera partner, Dave Reisner. So I'm really looking forward to this hunt.
I'm gonna check over here. I think you're right. First time this morning, we were way over there. We took them all the way around, so I think they're just down this ball. I'm gonna hit them. Oh yeah, right there. Right there, they're in that same spot. I think if we just slip up right around here, put the decoys out, they might come right down this road. I mean, didn't you say that's where they usually like to travel, right down?
I was really looking forward for Johnny to come back to Iowa and go hunting with me. He's out in Seattle now, so we don't get together quite as much. So we're really looking forward to this hunt. Try to get my turkey on film.
I know John was especially looking forward to this hunt because John was going to hunt with his father and I was going to film it, and he was going to let his dad have the first turkey, and so we're going to hopefully get one out of the way before we get two, but I know John's looking forward to this hunt a lot.
You know, my dad's hunted this ground for several years. He thought that if we could get out around the birds and get ahead of them, that there'd be a chance we could get them.
We kind of made a decision that we're going to have to circle around them and get down in front of them. We knew there was a big gate down there in the meadow and a strutting zone. We're going to try to get ahead of them, see if we couldn't get them to walk right down to us maybe.
We set up on a kind of a clear cut where the farmer had cleared an area around a pond, and he'd planted some oats, and it was just a nice green area that we thought if the birds kept coming and working along the edge of the timber, they'd come right by us.
Get ready, Dad. They can pop up out of the hill anytime. See him, Dad. They just came out of the woods. Can you see him? Right.
When those birds popped out, I just couldn't believe it. I was so excited. My heart just started racing as much as when I killed my very first turkey, because I just knew that my dad was finally going to get his turkey on video, and I was just so excited.
And the next was just, you know, it was just kind of a waiting game then. They really took their time. They stopped halfway down, just kind of gobbled and looked around, and of course our hearts were pounding. We really wanted to go down there to our decoys.
Just let him come, Dad.
And the last part of it, they finally made a move and came down, and they got about 30 yards out from our decoys and kind of hung up. And Dave had been really watching them close, and he thought they were going to take off on us, so he told us to take them. At that point, we made a move to shoot them.
Take them.
Woohoo! Yeah! A double, Dad! Dad! A double! Oh, yeah!
Well, great shot, Dad.
Thanks. Pretty good shot yourself.
We finally got you a bird on video. You've been taking us since we were kids. Even, as a matter of fact, I started turkey hunting before I could drive. You used to take us and drop us off at the woods at the crack of dawn and come pick us up every day, and I sure appreciate it. A few years later, I guess we got you hooked on turkey hunting, and we've been trying for a couple years to get you on video, and that was just a gorgeous hunt. Can you believe how they came right down this road right to us?
That was just unbelievable. It was just like out of a storybook. You know, I mean, they just took their time, come poking in there. You know, it's befitting that you and Dave were with me this morning because, you know, it's his first one on film and everything, and it's, you know, we've been hunting a lot, and to get a double, I think, is just amazing. Just amazing.
Yep. Awesome hunt. This is one I'll remember for a long time.
You came on at the right time.
Good job, Dad.
Thank you very much.
Four great birds. You know, I think that to me, you know, the hunt isn't always about the harvest. I know, as you know, all growing up, my dad and I have been able to spend quality time in the woods. It's actually been some of the best time we've been able to spend together. And you know, I know we won't have these days forever. So, you know, a hunt like this, it just means a lot. It'll always have a place in my heart. And every time I watch it, you know, I'll remember this day, this time I shared in the woods with my dad and my best friend.
To video a father-son, you know, harvest their first turkeys together, I think that's awesome, and I was privileged to be a part of it, and I know it's something I'm going to remember for quite some time as well. John's been like a brother to me in many senses, and his dad's taken us out on countless of hunts and dropped us off and picked us up and pretty much done whatever we've asked him to, and so to repay that a little bit, it was awesome to be there.
I just want to tell Johnny and Dave, though, that this is a chapter in the John Sr. book that I'll never forget. Thanks a lot, you guys. It was a great, great time. We'll do this again next spring.
Well, we elected to use the blind this morning. It's been raining all night, and we just don't want to get the camera wet. So we'll come up here and set up in this hayfield. There's some turkeys gobbling at the other end. There's really not much down here. Thought we'd go ahead and open it up and do some calling. I got some deeks set up and whatnot, so. The gobbler's still in the tree. The hens flew down. Right out here, but there's a gobbler. He's just gobbled right up here. He's running in. So I'm gonna close these up and open up these windows, see if we can't get a shot at him. He's right there.
Well, this morning this thing wasn't the only thing to take some punish from my gun. I guess my gun kills on one end and maims on the other. I happened to get my nose a little too close, and as you can see, I took one for the team as well. We started out this morning hunting this green field because we had some turkeys roosted in front of us. We put them to bed last evening. It was kind of a slow morning. Nothing really was happening. The turkeys seemed to be gobbling at the end of the field. And just about the time we were going to make a slight move, one hen flew into the decoys, and lo and behold, this guy came strutting and gobbling from behind us. We set up in this field because the turkeys seemed to like the green field so much in the rain. It had been raining cats and dogs all last night and the night before, and they seemed like to come out here to try to get dry. And we used a blind this morning for the simple fact of keeping the camera dry, as well as along this edge of this field the hills drop off pretty good, and there's not really a good tree to sit against, so the blind seemed to pay off good this morning for us. Foggy morning gobbler. He does have some very nice spurs on him, 1.25 inches at least, if not a little better. So made it worth it. Now let's head to the truck.
You know, filling this 4th season tag makes me recognize that I'm probably done turkey hunting for the year. If I can't get out with some other people here yet 4th season and lay down some hunts, I tell you what, my turkey season for the spring of 2003 is probably over. But calling them right off the roost, having them come in and work a decoy, and then end up with a magnum bird like this, I tell you what, this is why I turkey hunt. This is why I get up early in the morning, and this is why I put so much effort into, you know, learning how to call and decoy placement and the different things that work 1st season that don't work 4th season. And I tell you, it can be tough, but if you do your homework, it can definitely be fun. Great, great bird.
Well, 4th season this year started off kind of slow, and I wasn't quite sure how the season was going to go. And we kind of started brainstorming, and John remembered a spot on a dirt road. So we went back the evening before the hunt, and John roosted a couple birds in there. We had a pretty good location on them, and so we went back the next morning, and I'd never hunted the spot, but John had, and he was pretty confident that we'd be seeing birds in there. And John started calling. Sure enough, they were just hammering away. I was pretty excited to hear that.
Birds trying.
45 minutes later, maybe less, we had a bird working on top of the ridge in front of us, and he caught the decoys. He liked the sound of the calling, and we knew he was coming, and it was just unbelievable. I was pretty excited watching that bird strut for almost 200 yards all the way across this green field. Coming in within probably 15 yards, I went ahead and took him, and it was awesome. I was in shock that this hunt had gone the way it had, and it far exceeded my expectations for a fourth season hunt.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. We had birds all over us this morning. Oh, we killed one, still gobbling up here on the hill. We had him, we thought, coming. Hung up on this hill, didn't want to come down. Sitting here, John says, we got a strutter just across the field. I try to turn, here he comes. Must have seen the decoy out and came right in. Oh, what an awesome bird. Awesome hunt. Unbelievable.
It was just unbelievable watching him strut all the way across that field coming down to our decoys. And the shot was perfect, laid him right down. I just couldn't ask for a better hunt.
I don't know if they're gonna cross the creek, or if they come to that opening.
Man, what a way to end fourth season Iowa. We came in here, had good expectations in here. I shot a bird right here last year. It's a beautiful strutting zone here. and these 3 birds came along the ridge and they wouldn't cross the creek. And over a period of about an hour and a half, we had them in, and another turkey gobble behind us here, and it persuaded them to cross the creek, and as you can see, they came right in. Beautiful for us.
A lot of women and family members are really getting into hunting turkeys lately, and on this next hunt, I was tagging along with my wife Carol, hunting in Wisconsin on her father's farm, and I was just lucky enough that I could tag along with her and film it.
I think I just caught a glimpse of a gobbler on the other end of the farm, probably 800 yards away. We haven't had nothing else answer us around here, so I think I'm gonna pick up and go try and get after him, close the distance a little bit, and see what we can do with him. Well, we closed the distance on our gobbler. He's, probably 100 yards or so up here. I think I'm just gonna try and sneak up there a little farther, and if he's coming our way, I'm not gonna even call because they haven't been very responsive to it. So I think I'm just gonna sneak up here. There'd be a little birch by those birch trees there and see what we can do. Hen came right across the road, right on top of the road, and took our gobbler off to the other side. Just the way our luck's been going, but I think he's right. It's kind of a hump over that road, so I think we could maybe try and sneak up in this open field and try and get him that way. And I can keep an eye on him. I can peek because he's been constantly fanned out. I'll just watch his fan. Gonna try it and see how it goes. I don't feel like getting up tomorrow morning at 4 o'clock on my first Mother's Day, so let's go see if we can sneak up on this gobbler.
She's got a little predator in her.
I think I was gonna hit him. I wish he was so quick. It's Wisconsin's 4th season here, and it's the 4th day, and we've been hunting every morning on the same farm here, and it's just not our luck. They keep going right on top of this road here, and that's where they stay. So this morning we tried to put the sneak on one. Luckily enough, we made it happen. We came along the fence line and snuck up on him. Well, then, lo and behold, here comes a hen to take him the other way. So he came up on this field right over the side of the road, and he got far enough where we could sneak up a little closer on him, and we just watched him by his tail fan. We could see where he was. And we got close enough, and I was lucky enough to harvest this beautiful tom. It's just a wonderful feeling, and being out here in the fresh air and spending time with my husband doing something that we love. It's just great, and I'm sure we'll be out here again next season.